how then you guys figured out, okay, rather than doing this DIY style, okay, let's do for models for car, because that was the start, right? Carmat was the start, right?
Okay, so this is how we sell car mats in the beginning.
Okay.
Like, people walk up to us, what do you sell? I sell car mat. So the first thing they will ask, I already have a car mat, right? And then I'll ask them, does your car mat, every time that you go into your car, do you need to pull it back to position? Every time after 6 months or 1 year, does your car mat have one hole? During rainy days, do you need to take it off and you smack at the wall, and then dust will always come out and never finish?
Yeah.
Right? And in rainy days, it's going to be smelly, right? And your car mat never fit. It's like here, you know,
These are
bigger
all
size.
the things we face, man.
Yeah. And the more that I
But we
say,
are not conscious about this, right?
exactly.
It's okay, you thought it was normal.
Yeah, everyone thought it was normal, but when we share with consumer, everyone was nodding their head. It's like, real, that's real.
Yeah.
And okay, how much I'll buy? Right. So that was literally our sales pitch during the early days.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Nama saya Ashraf Khalid dan bersama saya
Ishraq Kamarudin.
selamat datang ke Apa Cerita, di mana kita mendengar kisah individu-individu yang berjaya dan menarik untuk dijadikan sebagai inspirasi dan teladan. Alright, bro.
Yes.
Today we are very, very fortunate.
Yep.
Because we have two brothers
Two
who
people.
has changed the landscape of the car accessory industry.
Of
And
Malaysia
of
and
Mal-
regionally.
Yeah, and regionally. And they are young, bro.
Correct.
They are our age. Like
Our batch
dia kata masa when I was in high school, they were still in high school also
Yeah,
lah.
yeah,
So
yeah.
we are the same batch, you know. We are the same batch.
But
So
for 1 from 5, is it?
yeah,
Okay.
4 or 5. But you know, they have done extraordinarily well, and I think, you know, to be honest, they are much more richer than me.
Yep.
And so these two brothers are big inspiration to me also after I hear their story and how they started from a family business, and then they had a spin-off kind of business but didn't become a spin-off, instead became a leader in the car accessory punya market. And I think we are really honored to have them both here. So maybe you want to do the honor.
Yep.
of
In
introducing.
summary, basically, two brothers who transform something as ordinary as factory foam waste into a multi-million ringgit automotive brand.
Yeah, I heard
Right?
the business is like 8 to 9 figures.
Very, very, very close to 9 figures.
Yeah.
We cannot say, but very, very close.
Tapi selalu kalau 8 figure is like what?
Puluh-puluh juta.
10 hingga 90
99.
juta. 90 juta tu kira 8 figures, 9 figures tu 100 juta. So
Betul.
kalau kita average it down, probably about 80 to 100 million.
Yeah. Alright. So, but before we continue, kita nak sarankan kepada viewers out there yang belum lagi subscribe, do subscribe ke Apa Cerita, and also hashtag
Nak ubah member.
Alright.
Ini bukan nak ubah member je, dia ubah brother sekali. Sama-sama.
Bukan member nak ubah brother.
Alright, let's introduce these two brothers.
Alright, with all with pleasure. So before that, they recently received the EY Emerging Entrepreneur of the Year Malaysia Award, and just announced a massive collaboration with a particular brand, with a particular bank. To the ones who don't know about this award, past recipients include Nicole Lim, founder of Empire Sushi, Ian Chua, and Venon Tian, founder of Zeus Coffee. So I guess it is safe to say that they are on track to become just as successful as the one who had received this award before them. All right. So from Malacca to Southeast Asia, from byproduct to a big business, these guys are redefining how we see entrepreneurship. I'm super excited to hear you guys put your story. So without further ado, please welcome the co-founders of TRAPO, Tzong and Zare. Welcome to the show, guys.
Hi, thanks.
Hi, how are you guys?
Hello. Thank you for having us.
Feeling very good.
Thank you,
Excited,
thank you.
Nice.
excited.
Thank you
for
so
the
much for
kind-
coming all the way, man. I know that from Malacca, right?
Yeah.
You're based here.
Yeah, you're from Ambang Hilir, so not so
Yeah.
far. But still, we still appreciate both of you
Very,
making
very,
the
very
time. I'm sure you guys are so busy having, 26 over shops in 4 countries. You know, I see you guys traveling around the world. recently we traveled to Oxford together,
yeah,
and then
yeah.
after that I saw you guys went to Bangkok,
Right.
and then I don't know what else lah. You guys did so many things, you know,
Yes.
and you know, so I really appreciate you guys being here.
Yeah.
So
How
thank
are you
so
guys,
much.
anyways? Like, how's business? I know that actually you guys are the third guest from Oxford Leap, so it must have been like very very fruitful. Even
Yeah.
Apa Cerita also feels the Oxford Leap punya impact. How is it
Yeah.
for you guys? How are you guys?
I think overall Oxford was an eye opener for us. Like being in entrepreneurship for a few years, you go there with a single goal just to refresh yourself and give yourself a few days there to see different things, feel differently, have being open, right? And I think that trip just kind of changed of how we look at the entrepreneurship as well. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
amazing. Yeah. How about you, man? How did you find the whole trip?
Oh, it was when we started before the trip, we were asking each other like, what to expect, right? What are we trying to do this
Achieve,
time around?
right.
And we actually had a few plans, and to be honest, it actually went over. I think we built a lot of really good relationships, and we learned so much from the the professors over there. And it was such an amazing journey for us, and it actually gave us a lot of time to reflect as well. How was our entrepreneur journey throughout the past 9 years?
Yeah, that's nice. And I think it's also nice to be a student for a week, right? And
Awesome.
Zare was really acting like a student.
Of course, taking notes every day. Taking notes.
Being a good student also,
asking the
and
right
also
questions,
have the extracurricular activities for students to do at night.
It's part of the activity, part of the program. Yeah.
Part of the
Awesome,
program.
yeah.
Program and experience
Yeah.
Yeah, so thank you, and I appreciate you guys coming over to Leap, and of course, sharing you guys your experience. I think they were one of the businesses that everyone looked up to also,
Look up
because they are already at a journey like I say like way bigger than us, and have done so well for yourself. So thank you for being an inspiration, and thank you for being humble enough to accept my invitation
Yeah,
to
thank
come
you for inviting
to
us. It
Oxford
was-
again.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
appreciate it.
To Oxford and also to
Yeah,
Apa
to
Cerita.
To the viewers out there, you guys want to stick around because the story behind TRAPO is something that you really, really want to hear. Like we said,
Yeah.
top tier entrepreneurs, and also not to mention our batch, our age.
Yeah.
So let's hear what's the secret sauce
Oh, so
behind.
by the way, Zare is only 1 year older than me. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Same age, from 1, from 2.
I want to disclose myself about Form 4. Yeah.
all right, so
Let's dive in.
Yeah, let's dive in. And I think usually, of course, I like to find out about every entrepreneur's backstory, their background. How they were as a child. So maybe we can bring it back to your childhood. How was your childhood like? And who were you guys before TRAPO, before all this business, and before you guys became this successful entrepreneur? Who were Zare and Tzong?
Growing up in Malacca.
Yeah.
You can go first.
Okay, I can go.
The elder brother,
because I
Abang Form
have,
four.
I have
Abang
3
Form
more year of experience than you.
I'll
share 0 to 3 first. Okay, so I think we were born in Malacca, and then we really born and raised in Malacca until the age of 18, and then both of us went to Melbourne to further our studies. So throughout the journey of us, because our father actually built a toy manufacturing, and he's still in the business today. And that says so much about our entrepreneurship journey. Since young, I still remember that we rarely see him at home because he was so busy going out, early in the morning, coming back late, and he started the business quite special. He started overseas trades rather than local market. So he has always been traveling, around the world for exhibitions. And since young, because we need to go to school, right? And there was one question that I always asked my dad when there was an opportunity when he called back. And I always ask him, how's business? How many containers do you sell this time? Right. So that was like a childhood thing that because he was so excited after he sold something, right? And it was shipped by containers. So we take it as a benchmark. Like how many do you do this time? So I think that was sort of like a conversation that got us into there.
Wow.
And because he is a toy business, so there's this rule in the toy exhibition that you are not allowed to go there I think after 18 years old or something like that. Right. But they were not really strict about it. So I think I remember when I was 16 or 17, right, I get this opportunity to travel with him, I think the entire family, to Germany, right, one of the biggest toy fair. And during there, it was my first time going in, because you imagine that entire life I've been hearing about toy exhibition, like you're not allowed to go in. There are like, all the best toys, the fun toys. Right, he was telling me like how good PlayStation was. They have like big booth, tons of tables there that was
he was
selling.
telling you about it, right?
And then he brought back with the PlayStation CD. I don't even have the console. I kept it, right? Yeah. So I said, Dad, you forgot to buy something else. They gave out as a demo, right? So it always been such a fun thing that we really want to do. And then I remember that year we got into there. Of course, once I got there, I see things totally different. I have been hearing everything, entire life. You see in real life about how my dad negotiates, how businesses are doing, how brands are being built, and how do we position the business overseas. I think there's so much things to learn, especially when
so young also, right?
Yeah. So I think we always say that our dad is definitely the first person that actually brought us into the entrepreneurship journey. To get us exposed to where we are.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I still remember like an oversized jacket. Like everyone is suited up, right? So I think I'm 14 and 16, so we got like an oversized jacket and try to make a tie and then just walk in.
You also went at 14, so he okay lah, 2 years gap. You 4 years, bro.
We just sneaked in.
Sneak in.
But how many siblings do you guys have? Like in terms
All right. We have a total of 3 of us. So we have a younger sister.
Ah.
Still studying.
Still studying.
So you guys are among the next generation, so get training from the early age, I believe, right?
Correct.
The exposure.
Exactly.
Because actually, that's the age. Like for me as well, I followed my dad to travel for meetings and all this. Was around that age as well. Went to Airbus and all this. Similar, just different industry. But this is the right exposure, I believe. Like even for you, up one day if Arif becomes once habis sekolah should bring him.
No, even nowadays also, whatever I can expose my son to, like even when Tia goes around to exhibition and stuff, so we bring my son and then he helps sell also.
Correct.
And then sometimes I bring him to the podcast.
But he's like what, 7, 8?
Yeah, 7, 8. Yeah. So
it's even earlier. Starting earlier.
No, I mean just to keep their mind curious, like yourself. When you were young, you ask your dad how many containers, right? And my son will ask me also, how much money you have, that kind of thing, because he has a curious mind. I'm sure why you ask about the container is also because you are calculating his money, right?
Got him excited. I was wondering why container got him excited, right? That was a journey.
Yeah, and I think as an entrepreneur, when you see your son or people around you getting excited over what you are excited about, that also gives you an extra push or energy as well, right?
Correct.
All right. So, of course, your family was running and also still running a foam toy manufacturing company, and you grew up in this kind of environment, right? So at what point do you guys think you guys started to have this entrepreneurship mindset instead of just following the normal route of going to work and stuff like that? Maybe I can get Zare to answer that first.
Yeah, I think so. We grew up generally together, right? Since young, I think, and a big part of us is actually play a lot of sports together. Like we started with basketball. That shaped, how we think about a team, and that dynamics actually, help have like a competitive within us. And we were brought up in uni. So both of us were there, and our dad only give us like just nice. It's like $10 per meal. You get $30 per day. Times by 30 days, that's $900 that you have. So
in Melbourne,
and then I say, so rental is 500. You guys go some studio and share with your friend, right? So it's like 1.5K.
But he was quite a rich guy already, right? By then.
He don't tell us so much, right? So we were there, and then we went there, and just that's all we have, right? And we were then working part times here and there. So he was actually selling mobile phones.
Oh, same as you in Melbourne.
Melbourne selling mobile phones.
But
yeah.
I was doing business lah.
I mean, we are
trading.
working, right? And then I also did McDonald's. So that shapes us part of how we grew up. And then eventually, I also sold Tree, which is a Vodafone. Yeah. But then at some point we talked to each other like, why not we sell our dad's toys in Australia?
Oh wow!
Right. I still remember we asked him, can you sponsor us like 7 carton of toys? So he said okay. So we sent it over. We went on eBay and we started selling. Yeah, and it's probably the first failure that we made. I think the stock is still in there, but then
No, I saw all of them in the early
You saw
morning.
them?
Yeah, I went to a morning market one day to clear the stock.
So I think that hunger or drive, like you really need to make a bit more money to be able to enjoy some part of life, right? I think that kept us, grounded and wanted to see what we can do, and even at the age of 18 to 20s, right? So it's quite natural. So after we got back, we tried to work in the company and all that. It just makes sense for us to start something. And of course, we don't know what, but then we just want to make a difference in terms of what we have and how we can actually go out there and do something together.
Understand?
Yeah.
Well, before TRAPO, right? Before you guys introduced TRAPO, were you guys doing anything else after studies? Were you working or apart from working while? Yeah.
Apart than studying. While
Working
you were in Melbourne.
Yeah.
I think both of us took like a year or two. I worked in a consulting firm for a year.
Oh, you did.
Yeah, and then I went back for masters. I think similar for him.
I was doing sales job in Melbourne. I was selling computers in the telecommunication industry. Yeah.
So
Understand?
yeah, and then we got back and they were like, let's do it. It's time to come home.
But I think the way you guys, I'm sure your dad had more than enough money to give you guys more of a luxury in Melbourne. Like, I think if I'm not mistaken, my dad gave me like 2,000 a month.
Right.
Wow.
So I felt like quite okay. Like
Comfortable,
on top of that, my brother was around, so
Yeah.
almost every dinner he would pay for it. So
Right.
you had
Yours
more,
is free
lucky
yeah.
you.
yeah, and the house also was like. So my dad was spoiled, but after that when we came back, he took away everything. So he gave me the
bit taste of life.
bit taste of life. And then, okay, now you're working, right? Okay, you find your own money. Then you really start.
Then you
the
get the hunger, right?
Yeah, but I think that's interesting the way your dad shaped you guys and make sure that you guys felt a little bit of orang kata susah. Because I think for second generation, like, of course, naturally your kids wouldn't be so susah, right?
Right.
So they've got to like create this, artificial kind of susah for the kids, so that they have to go through this kind of experience as well, right? So I think that is interesting lah. All right, so of course you guys started understanding about business early on, right? But did you guys have that dream to one day become like a successful entrepreneur? And do you guys think dreaming is important? Tzong can answer that.
Yeah. So definitely, we always, like how I shared in the beginning, we always have that entrepreneurship in us. It's just a matter of opportunity. I think one of the characteristic of entrepreneur is about negotiating, thinking about opportunity, right? Yeah, we always have that in mind. Like at some point, we wanted to do something, but it's just that what is it?
Yeah.
Right. I think that was the hardest part to actually figure it out. Yeah. So that is where we always try, like he just shared, we tried different things along the way. And this is where we always wanted to have that dream. But what is the dream? Right. So this is we are to be honest, we were not clear. Like we just knowing that we want to get into business. We want to start something. We want to create something that has impact. Yeah. So that was the thoughts back then when we were young.
Like for you, did you have a dream to become a billionaire or anything like that?
I think more of one of the inspiration I got was in uni actually. So I was in a course about entrepreneurship and this professor actually inspired me to think. The thing that I remember was anti-clockwise thinking. So it's just like look at this clock and ask why, and then ask why again and ask why, and then got so excited and then I remember, so I was meant to do like a business model canvas, and then I said, let's pick my dad's business. I put it in. There's so many things that we can do better, right? There's not a strong brand, positioning, all this. So it's so fun that after doing that, it just kind of like hey, let's do something, right? So let's fix it in some way that can create, like you shared, like an impact or solve a bigger problem that we can see, right? So that's my inspiration, and in terms of like trying to be a billionaire, and I'm not at that clear at that point, but then I really wanted to do something about entrepreneurship.
And I'm also interested to know, right?
Yeah.
How come when you guys do something, you guys like think of doing it together? Why do you like some people like me and my brother, for example, we have our own separate career, but why is it with you guys that when you guys want to do something, you guys think about it together? What was the
I think for me at least it was the see, there you go, right? So there's like all chemistry between us. but then I think for me it's because of sports. So it was the sports, the bond that we had during. It's like we always win as a team, right? You never win. It's not a solo game. So we are very used to like passing balls to each other, and all that. So we want to win together and having each other to back up. So it's not like it's not like a sprint that you can run by yourself, right? So why not you run it with someone that you trust and you can do it always together. Yeah. I think that.
And about yourself? Why you pick?
Very, very interesting. I was just thinking maybe I take care of my younger brother very well. We really do a lot of things.
Think like that.
No, we really do a lot of things when we were young together since young, because we're only 3 years apart, right? To be honest, it's 2 years plus a little bit, and we thinking back how similar we are different character that complement each other, right? But when it comes to the things that we do, we do the same instrument, we do the same sports, we play the same game, the same topic. We watch the same sports together, watch the same cartoon together. Right? So that sort of shaped us, that wanting to do things together. We went to the same school, primary, secondary, even uni, right? We went to the same city, right? So that sort of shared a lot of how things were being designed. Maybe it's our dad that actually programmed that together.
Looking at that, right? So we are talking about gaming, right? So I think gaming is the one part that really made how we think that we can do it together. So we actually own one character and we make it the best character and win everyone, right? So
really?
So I'll take care of like 5 hours and go for dinner, and then he'll come back and then we swap, right? So our Diablo is actually one of the craziest, like how we grew like from nothing and then we can trade all the way to something, right? So I think maybe that's also probably why we think it just makes sense to work together. You can take time off, right?
Like same character, but two of you guys behind taking
we
turns.
take turns to work on it. Right?
I thought your mother or parents cultivate this culture or something. Rupanya game. But I'm sure your parents also cultivate this culture of togetherness.
Definitely that.
Yeah, because as a father now, I'm a father, right? Sometimes I see my kids, they try to fight with each other, right? So I always look at you two and it's like thinking, it would be nice if my kids also turn up to be so supportive of each other and want to do things together. Because I think when you are with your brother, right, you feel stronger. Like even when I'm down or whenever I have problems, and I have a strong support system. When my brother, if I have a problem, they will show up, and when they show up, it gives us strength. Right, and you guys have that every day, so I think it's a beautiful thing that's happening for you guys.
Yeah,
thank you.
So well done to your parents.
Awesome, thank you.
Kudos, mom and dad. Shut up.
Yes. So fast forward, right? When you guys were studying and all that before coming back and figured out where Zare found this 300,000 wastage, I believe it's from the business canvas that you said, right? The initial plan. But you guys never thought of taking over your family business.
Yeah, and I think you guys did, right? You guys were
the initial
with
plan.
Yeah.
I think we always wanted to. I mean, we still is in the business, right? So eventually our dad will still pass on to us at some point in time, right? So I think we know that what are the points that we can do better. So I think one strong point is that when we are like at that's a negotiation table, right? So we are watching, right? So it's always about price, right? So you're doing an OEM business, it's always about price. Like give me even 5 cents less, they are very happy. So these kind of negotiations, like we don't have enough negotiation power in terms of brand or in terms of differentiation, right? So these are something that hit us very hard, and we thought that if we just go back into the business and do the same thing, we probably will be in the same loop, right? Why not we try to create something proud? And I think building a proud Malaysian brand is something that and also a global brand because we're exposed globally, right? So we are not like kind of tied like we just want to be in Malaysia. So if we can create that, then that's the end goal that we see how all this, when we go to Germany, right, all this exhibition, the German brands, they are having champagnes, they're really celebrating. They're not really selling. Like they're bringing on the distributors there to celebrate and to really thank them for the year, right? And we all are winning together as a whole. But then as an Asian manufacturing company, we go there and cut price. So
Understand.
so that's quite interesting, right? So that's
different culture.
It's totally different, not just culture but also positioning of the company. Hence, I think there's something that we need to fix.
It's also the branding side of things. And I think you guys found like a very important aspect in business, because I think traditionally a lot of people don't really think about brand, but actually brand has like add-on value also when you exit and stuff like that, right? So to build a brand is something maybe a lot of people think is a difficult thing to do, which I think is a difficult thing to do, but when you build a proud Malaysian brand, then the world is your oyster. There's no limit to what you can do, kan? But I think we're gonna talk about TRAPO more after this, and I think we're just gonna take a short break before we get into that 300 tons question and how that whole TRAPO journey began.
Yes, sir.
All right, so catch you guys after the break.
Don't go anywhere.
All right. Alright, welcome back to Apa Cerita bersama dengan Zare and Tzong from TRAPO. TRAPO Malaysia, it's a proud Malaysian brand, but not just in Malaysia but in 4 different countries as well. So these 2 amazing brothers, like just now during the break we were saying how jealous we are to see you guys as brothers, because we wish that our brother was this close, guys. Come on, guys, we can do better.
And not very common to see, a lot of brothers, siblings starting, especially a startup, right, together. In my view, right, you guys are the first actually, like 2 brothers, siblings starting a startup together.
Yeah. We have one brother and sister, Nizam and Siti Jamal. But I think this is a unique story, and mungkin it can also inspire other siblings, especially second generations, right, to actually work together and build an even bigger empire. Daddy breed one hill, I breed another hill.
We are recording for our kids.
And the kids will be a bigger hill. So, all right. So, okay. So, just now we understand that you guys, went abroad and studied in Melbourne. You guys had,
exposure.
Interesting exposures in the corporate sector as well. You did some part-time job, and then you did some sales job. Even though you guys are from, I would say, a very well-to-do family, but I think the journey that was set for you guys is a very interesting journey, right? So before you started TRAPO, right, what kind of lessons you think you got before starting TRAPO that you use in order to grow TRAPO to where you are today?
Okay. Yeah, I can take on that one. When I first came back from Melbourne, in between, before I did my MBA, I actually worked here for a year. So during that year, I had a lot of challenges about working within the family business, about convincing, right? And
you had different ideas,
yeah. So it's more towards like a 20. I think I was like 23 years old or 22 years old, and then
Right after degree,
the generation gap was like 25 years apart from the managers, right? So because I did my degree in IT, right? So and during that time was a perfect timing for digitalization, if you guys can recall about
2008, 2010,
somewhere around there, right? So everyone was thinking about how do you go into system and how do you go into that kind of thing. So the idea that I had was I had so much to wanting to digitalize, right? But then how do I talk to them? That was the key challenge.
The gap.
Yeah. So I went back and basically my job, as a second generation the first title, maybe many people here can relate, is business development.
I did business development.
It's very common. It's very common. Yeah, because maybe our parents don't know how to put us, where to put us, right? So business development is probably the easier way. And I don't know about many other people, but for me, instead, during the time I was the elder one, there wasn't any guideline. So they're just trying to plug you in, set you in for to observe and to learn. And in fact, whether they guide you or not guide you, in our experience, right? So my dad was an entrepreneur, like a Chinese businessman, and the way that he do things is very different from how we were brought up, in the Australia, and the mindset is a little bit different, right? And then trying to bring that in here. So that was my struggle early stage. So I went back, did my MBA. I get, straight away, my first thing is to find a mentor. So I straight away get to the mentor. I asked him okay, I have this problem about convincing people that's 20 years older than me. What can I do? Right. So he sort of mentored me over about my entire 1 year. He gave me ideas
Was
about
it
that.
someone from Australia?
A professor.
Yeah. Okay, nice.
So he has entrepreneurship journey and also teaching at the same time, right? So he was really guiding me this is what you need to do. First step, second step, third step, and then
Can you recall those
steps?
Those tips or those lessons?
There was a Greek word of three things. I think one is, I can't remember exactly, ethos, pathos, and there was another one. Right? He was telling about how do you convince people. Right? The first thing is that you really need to get the setting right, the aura right, and then lead by example. And then it was very simple things, but I never had that. I thought
These
that
are wisdoms or knowledge.
exactly. I thought that I had a good idea. I asked you to do, you follow.
Yeah.
and things don't work out that way, right? And how do you convince people to actually follow you is a completely new thing for me.
Getting buy-in like that, right?
Yeah. So I think that was one thing that sort of set me up in the beginning. Second part is when I came back, I was doing business development, but I was in the product team. So I was creating products. And my dad will just question me because the buyer will question him, what are the new products that you have? So we were just going circles and circles and circles, creating products. And then I actually put a lot of effort in creating products from the B2C perspective, because I'll position me as a user, right? If I were to create a toy, I would think as a kid or the user, how to create this toy. And every time I go to the exhibition, and when it comes to new toy, I was the one that present. So, and I realized that they don't really pay attention with the things that I create. They rather ask, what is the quantity and what's the price. So that set a very demotivating for me, a little bit confused. I was trying to create based on what the user want, but the buyer don't see it that way. The buyer, because these buyers are usually bigger chains, they just want things that can sell, right? And it's very different from maybe different channels. So these are big supermarkets, right? So that set the tone where, then I was telling him that, we need to start something. We definitely need to start something to direct to consumer. And at the same time, during that year, I saw that a lot of opportunity in China where there were so many factories are going direct to consumer through Taobao, Alibaba, right?
Yeah.
So they no longer requires to be present in exhibitions anymore. Even my era, every year in exhibition until today, everyone is saying last year is better. Everyone for the past 15 years, right? And it's not because that the market is changing. It's just that the behavior of consumer has changed.
It's just that they've seen it in Taobao.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
So things has changed. So that is another part that set us from the foundation of number one, there is a generation gap. How do you convince them to create something different? Second is the buying behavior from buyers, and how do we want it to come in? And the more that we dive into that, and we realize that actually consumer cares. Everyone cares. You're buying everything that we buy today, our shirt, our microphone. Well, we care. We look at the specs, right? And then you start thinking about it's the brand that actually creates a differentiation, right? So that was the first foundation of telling ourselves, okay, I think it's time. We are going to build the next generation of the family business, and we were doing two things concurrently. Number one, I was doing family business restructuring. So we converted the very traditional OEM business into a brand.
Oh,
So-
even the family business has a
so we
brand
did,
now.
yeah. So that was my first project after I came back. So we created a brand, get things aligned, with logo everywhere, and that was one thing that we're doing. But at the same time, the business was so because
Manual.
once the business is there for I think back then it was about 28 years or 30 years, it's still very B2B oriented, right? It's not so easy to change, right? And then that we got that opportunity to think that, okay, we definitely want to build another brand that we can think of direct to consumer, and that was also part of the foundation that sparked us from building that. Yeah.
Wow.
And in your perspective, how was the start like?
I
And the
think
lessons.
The key reason why you say yes, or was it just following the lead of Tzong?
Elder brother.
no, I mean we share a lot of challenges. I
Yes.
see him, right? So he's an IT and end up in the factory is fixing Wi-Fi. You know what I mean?
So he's the IT guy that fix Wi-Fi or problem phone and stuff.
So he went in first, right? And I'm observing, right? I'm having my lifetime in uni and all that. I'm observing, and I agree that a lot of points that he shared. It's really a struggle to try to make a difference when you don't have a foundation, right? Today when we say when we do something, people has the different perspectives to how we were before, right? And of course I'm a chemical engineer, so I go more into the manufacturing, and it's just exactly the same, right? So there are all these engineers that tell you, young man, it's going to take you 10 years to understand what we are doing, right? Don't try to change anything. It's like, okay, fine, right? like so I mean, for me, I started doing different formulations of foam and all that, and it's fun. And I mean, we are grateful despite of whatever the challenges we're sharing, that we still get a lot of authority to do things differently and how we want to do it.
To explore stuff.
Yeah, and at some point that we realized that within the factory, like we were sharing about the 300,000 tons of foam waste, is because when the more we sell, actually is a die cutting process, right? So and foams and toys that are created are normally super colorful, right? So it goes in yellow, blue, red, and all that, and it's impossible to recycle them because you can't segregate them based on color and recycle one by one, and there's too much cleaning in and it's best is just dump everything together and mix it into black,
Yeah.
right? So I think that's the fundamental story of how.
Would you walk
TRAPO
us
brand.
through of how
Yeah.
you discovered that 300,000 wastage,
Yeah.
and how the spark come to place? Because what was
to do
the
the car mat.
Yeah.
Like, how did that even come about? You
Correct.
know? I mean, I could see the 300 ton or whatever, and how do you actually put
I
that
think
in?
one value
Well,
that
yeah.
our dad
What-
tells
what-
us every day is, walk into the factory, gold is everywhere. Pick them up, right?
Your dad says?
Yes, he always says that even until today, right? So everywhere is gold, right? So if you're able to change the process here a bit, you make some, right? You're able to do something about it, you make some, right? So one biggest thing is the waste. We even have at that point we even have like a land just to dump all the waste and just
So rich,
even
buy land just to dump
no,
waste.
it's cheap in Malacca. for your information, it's not
Buy land
expensive.
just to-
My dad not that rich lah.
No,
He
no,
just
no,
buy
no,
land.
no, because
Malacca
it's
not so expensive
no,
lah.
because it's not because we the reason we do that is we want to retain the value, but we just don't know what to do with it.
Not
right?
yet.
Not
Not
yet,
yet.
right? So when you see it's more and more, it just kind of stack up, right? And yeah, it's really messy back then, and you just really need to do something. And
And you saw that problem as a goal.
Opportunity.
as a goal, right? So we were
I
told
really like that.
yeah,
Pick up the gold. Gold is what? Go into the factory.
go in the factory, gold is everywhere. Just pick them
Gold
up,
is
right?
everywhere.
Find and pick it
That's
up, right?
so nice. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's running right every day. Something is happening.
And,
just
and I
find
guess
what it
that
is.
is why your mind is thinking about what is the next goal.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Not what is the next goal and what can you do to improve?
Correct.
And then
We are always really opportunistic in terms of what we have within the capacity that we have. Yeah, and then I think we had this product,
the foam.
the foam. So it's black.
Now it's black.
Black,
Okay.
right? And yeah, now it's black. And we started selling, right? So for us, of course, we have the direct to consumer. We are building the
Mentality,
e-commerce website, right? And at the same time, we say we cannot just rely on e-commerce. So at the same time, we started selling to all these car manufacturers, even like, the 4S shops in dealerships in Malacca. We go there. No, we got rejected badly, right? So I remember we go into, I think it was a brand, right? So we cannot mention. but it was a brand that we went into. And
Is it a car brand or what?
Yeah, it's a car brand of a dealership car. Yeah,
Is it like Bertuah or something?
shop.
yeah, so it's a Japanese car brand. And then we walked in and...
Is it Toyota?
I can't remember.
Safe.
I'm sure you remember. Nobody forgets about
rejection, right?
Yeah.
So we went in and then we were trying to sell to the dealership, say, hey, so buy a set of customized car mat, right? So whatever model that you have, we actually can cut it for you, and it's exactly the model. Whenever your customer buy, just give it as a great free gift for one, all right? And they was like, okay, 60 ringgit. And they were like, no way, like this thing has so much value, like sharing, there's so many pain points that we're solving within the consumer lens, right? And we it's impossible that we sell for 60 ringgit at. And
But is this a waste, what?
no, it's not a waste, it's a value
gold.
for consumer. It's gold.
I mean, like,
It's gold.
but even 16 you were like, you rejected it?
No, of course we rejected because it doesn't justify it. I mean, looking at, we don't want to be back in the OEM business, right? So, and then they were saying that, like, why not we put our brand on your mats, etc. So I think this is something that we are very clear at the very beginning that this is not where we want to be.
You don't want to be an OEM,
Yeah.
you want to be a brand.
Yeah. And then, of course, we were in Bunnings Warehouse in Australia. So we saw, wow, Bunnings Warehouse, amazing. Everything is DIY, right?
What warehouse?
Bunnings Warehouse. So it's like a warehouse where you have all kinds of
Everything,
basically build a home.
yeah.
Oh.
You can buy
Paint
everything
your
and build a
Like
home.
DIY kind
Bricks.
of stuff.
Yeah. But really DIY, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very DIY.
Very
They
DIY.
sell doors, everything lah.
This is Mr. DIY on steroid lah.
Yeah, it's very, very big.
It's quite common in Australia,
Yes.
in the
Correct.
United States,
Correct.
where
Yeah.
people do it themselves.
Yeah, and
They
there are
build,
people
they
there
repair.
teaching you how to do it, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you
yeah.
can buy this paint, how do you mix the color of a paint, etc. So we thought that,
Not common here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can actually be your own car mat, right?
Yep.
So if we sell you the raw material, black, and then you can be your own car mat. So that's the first idea that we had, and we actually went to Mr. DIY and pitched it to them.
Wow.
And Mr. DIY is actually our very first customer.
Wow, you got it.
Yeah.
The actual Mr. DIY.
The actual Mr. DIY in Malaysia.
Wow.
So they actually liked the idea and say, let's do it yourself for your car mats, right?
Yeah.
And then we sold like a single car mat, right? So it was like that's really
But
interesting.
was it sold under your brand or
It was sold under our brand.
you guys'
Yeah,
brand?
yeah, yeah.
How
So
was
no-
the comment
Yeah.
like that?
So it was just in a roll. It's like a yoga mat in a roll, and then you cut it, and then we even have like a instructions and video to show how you're gonna cut it yourself.
Oh.
Right? Yeah.
But I think what is more interesting is the result. You want to hear.
Yeah.
It's a complete failure.
Really?
Again.
The build up was good.
Yeah,
I thought
exactly.
it became a success, and that's how you guys
It's a
became
complete
millionaires.
failure.
But we're very thankful for Mr. DIY. This project actually took off because then without them, we would never be able to. We need to have more molds. Invest in a lot of things that bring you there, right? The 0 to 0.1 kind of stage, right? And DIY is the one that set us on. And we are always forever thankful for this.
Yeah,
DIY.
I mean, for me, it's not a failure. It's just lessons that you learn
Yeah,
and the
correct.
journey.
I think
that
let
you
me
go through.
rephrase that. When I say failure, is that we
The
realize
project was a
we
failure.
realize one thing about consumer is that whatever that we think about the warehouse in Australia about DIY, it just don't fit in Malaysia.
Malaysia, yeah.
So it's all about that localization.
It's
that-
about different cultures, right? Different cultures.
There's
behaviors.
one story I can share is that there was this green energy exhibition invited us to go there for roadshow. Right, I went there over the weekend, and I had like stacks of big row mats that you can DIY yourself. And throughout the 3 days, I sold 2 row mats to one person,
To one person.
and he's not Malaysian. So this guy is from Korea, right? And there's a reason behind, because Korean actually do DIY mats, right? And then this is where you realize that okay,
Culture dia macam tu.
let's go back to the table again, right? We have a good product that we think that we can solve, but we cannot do it as a DIY. Like no one will want, like Malaysia, not many people want to wash their own car.
Correct.
Right, so it's the same thing. Like who will cut their own car mats.
I think that is so rare.
That's so weird, but it was what we were thinking. It was an opportunity back then, right? So anyway, we learned it in the hard way, right? Yeah. So that was the.
But how
the
much
story.
It's already 1 year, whatever we are talking about.
Took us 1 year exactly.
Took us 1 year to understand that.
Yeah.
I feel it's also manpower. Manpower in Malaysia is
No,
cheaper.
I mean like,
It's
why would
exactly.
they buy and like cut themselves and then put
But it's
their
common
car?
now in US, in Australia,
very
all
common.
it's super common.
Because kat sana mahal.
Manpower is
Yeah, manpower is
expensive.
expensive.
That's
Yeah,
why.
Now people like, you just do it for me,
Yeah.
But I wonder what was the cost like to Mr. DIY at that time?
I remember they were selling like a one-piece mat for like $39.90. I think it's retail at $39.90. It was quite good, right? So if you buy a full car, it's like $180 at that point.
Higher
Versus
than
Pro2 wanted the full set for 60.
Not
Pro2.
Sorry, Pro2. I mean,
some brand, yeah. So
Some
they wanted
brands,
like
some
they say,
Japanese
we have
brand.
quantities and etc. Right? So yeah, I mean, eventually we the business grew and the business model evolved, right? So at that early stage it should be a
And then
direct to consumer.
how then you guys figured out, okay, rather than doing this DIY style, okay, let's do for models for car, because that was the start, right? Car mat was the start, right?
Yeah. So there's two things behind. Number one is that we already make these foam rolls, right? So we have them. We have to find ways to sell them. that's number one. So the second thing is that then we're thinking about opportunity, right? We play basketball. So I had an opportunity to customize the basketball shoes. It's called Nike ID.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So you can customize the outsole, insole, everything, right? So we were thinking like, okay, let's have a crazy idea. Let's sell car mats online. Right. And because walking to accessory shop, it just don't work because they see it as a different product and the value is different. It's very hard to align, right? So rather we shape what we believe that we can do it. And another part is that we were always in toy manufacturing and toy business, and we never have connection with automotive brands, like no connections whatsoever to begin with. So the only way is to align with what we wanted, the direct to consumer. So we picked a very bold move to trying to sell car mats online, and to bring in that thing of Nike ID, because I think it's quite special. You can buy Nike shoes everywhere, but you can only Nike ID online, right? So you can buy car mats everywhere, but you don't get that customized car mat, lining color, different paddings and stuff like that. So that was the thing that we think that it could be a hook.
A customization.
But we don't know whether it's gonna success or not, but it could be a hook.
You guys do the cutting for them,
Yeah, we did everything for them. Just tell us your car model, and then we will just send the correct car.
Wow, okay.
And
car
now
mat
you
to
can do it in like literally a few hours, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So that's amazing. And
How did it go with the online strategy?
which year was this?
2016.
Oh, 2016. So 9 years now.
Yeah. So actually we started brainstorming and creating everything that we said, like try error here and there. It was 2015. So it took us about 1 year here and there to actually build the websites and to craft out. The hardest part is not building the website. It's actually getting the car model. So we need to go into every single
Car.
dealerships and
Yeah, to
actually
get-
draw the shapes and everything. Right. So that was it took us some months.
They
and-
just allow you to go into
no,
dealership?
you have to find ways.
Right. I can
Bro,
imagine,
this
man.
is the real Chinaman, man. Like how they go to LV and to photo.
Auto go into the...
Same strategy.
So this is where our entrepreneurship
Very charming.
comes in, right? Negotiation power.
Yeah.
And then talking about like going with confidence, like what you're trying to create. I think there's a lot of things that sort of build us up to that stage where we just know that we need it and we'll find ways to get it.
So okay, tell me a story of how you did like one of the car, right?
Yeah.
So what was the
What was the...
method?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To get the the easiest one, very common one, is to give them I think I sponsored the entire dealership they have with every set of car mats that we
You know why?
smart,
You know
man.
why?
Yeah.
Actually, dealership, when you go there, right? So if especially the test drive cars, don't touch the one that's inside the dealer, but the test drive car, they're okay, because otherwise they'll put a white paper there, right?
True,
Then you'll
true,
feel
true.
like, what might as well you give a free one, nice, and then they can use it, right? So they're super happy about some freebies. Yeah.
Butter trading.
Butter trading lah. So we solve their problem.
Yeah.
At the same time, we get the car model.
Yeah, yeah.
And then in fact, I tell them in the future, you can also sell our mats and make some money. Right? So that was the sort of the negotiation
That's
way that we did.
amazing, man. That's how you open the door,
Yeah.
basically, right? You
Yeah.
open the door by offering something free for them. They are happy to have it. At the same time, you have an in and from there, the business can you can start
You
to
can
have
start.
Correct.
a real network of people that can actually be part of your customers as well, right?
Yeah.
Wow, so
Yeah.
smart, man.
Key lessons for entrepreneurs out there, not what you can get from somebody, but what you can give before you
Right.
can actually,
Yeah, that's interesting. Right?
Yeah,
Power,
power.
I think this podcast today is more than just a podcast. It's a masterclass, man.
Yeah, masterclass,
It is
from
a
scratch.
masterclass, bro.
Yeah.
Amazing.
All right, so let's talk about the rise of TRAPO. So TRAPO isn't just a car mat company anymore. If you guys can see it everywhere. 26 stores to be exact. It's a brand. What you guys wished for has become your dream.
Reality.
Yes, exactly. It's a lifestyle for proud car owners. You guys are now selling products like car care products, windshield wipers, and even dash cams.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
I even have the car phone holder,
holder.
bro.
Yeah. Last time I wanted to do, right? For my car, remember?
Yeah.
But I forgot, man.
I have a few of those. The magnetic one. I think that one is the best.
Okay, I'll
especially
drop by.
if you use iPhone
I'll drop by.
14 and above. Then that one is the best because
the
letak je
MagSafe.
terus the.
Okay, I'm gonna drop by, man.
Welcome.
And with that being said, why do you guys decide to go beyond just selling car mats? We are fully aware of how difficult it is to enter the market based on what you guys shared. So please do share with us on why you guys are still pursuing these products along with the car mats. Like you say, this magnetic charger expanding. Car mats not enough?
Comments not enough.
I can take out that one. So I think we can have to wind a little bit back behind from why we started more products.
Yep.
It's actually why we started retail. So we were actually positioned as just online.
Yep,
Right.
yep.
And we were just selling a single product, which is car mat. And we actually see that we have people coming all the way from like Singapore, drive to Malacca, Penang, drive to Malacca,
Just to buy one
to
thing.
get the customized car mat. And people were asking like, where can I see and touch the mats? And this is where we started the retail, right?
okay.
So, and we had our first retail, and we realized that retail game is different. Like we were so ambitious of creating the concept shop of you coming to here, touch, feel, and you buy. Right.
Yeah.
But then when you have one, it's okay. When you have 2 or 3 or 4, and then the burden of rental, manpower, it will start coming in. And that was the stress from the business side. But on the other side is the consumer, because we as TRAPO, we solve the car mat. We call it we create. We focus in 2 things. Number one, we create unconscious problems that
Create unconscious problem.
So meaning that
Identify. I tell you have a problem.
No, I mean you're conscious that you have this problem, right?
It's exactly like that.
let me try. Okay, so this is how we sell car mats in the beginning, right?
Okay.
People walk up to us, what do you sell? I sell car mat. So the first thing they will ask, I already have a car mat, right? And then I'll ask them, does your car mat, every time that you go into a car, do you need to pull it back to position? Every time after 6 months or 1 year, does your car mat have one hole? During rainy days, do you need to take it off and you smack at the wall and then dust will always come out and never finish,
Yeah.
right? And in rainy days, it's going to be smelly,
Yeah.
right? And your car mat never fit. It's like here,
These are
bigger
all
size.
the things we face, man.
Yeah, and the more that I
But we
say,
are not conscious about this.
exactly.
It's okay. You thought it was normal.
Yeah.
Everyone thought it was normal, but when we share with consumer, everyone was nodding their head. It's like, real, that's real.
Yeah.
And okay, how much I'll buy? Right. So that was literally our sales pitch during the early days. And this is how we solve problem, right? And we managed to solve every single thing that I just mentioned within our car mats. And then we created followers. So they like the way that we solve the problems, and they will then eventually tap onto the brand. And this is what our vision of creating a brand. So they will start asking you, what else do you sell? Right? I think then we had that burden of wanting to monetize, to have more healthy retail business, compare with they actually have a lot more demand about, other products that we have. And we also realized that we have a group of people sharing the same mindset about solving problem. I think we have a team that's very passionate about solving
Problems.
customer-centric problems.
Yep.
They're very happy to solve unconscious problems because they find it very excited and after you can found these small problems to solve. Yeah,
And our product can solve this, kan?
Yeah, so that was sort of the reason why we started, 2, 3, 4, 5 products along the way until today. Yeah.
Technically, you become like a doctor. You are actually saving or making somebody's lives better, right? I think that's why your team is also very excited. In terms of it.
If I may, right, I just want to ask, like, during the first year, right, what was the numbers like in terms of turnover in 2016, like that?
I think we actually our very first video ads on Facebook back then, it was really exciting. Like every day you get 5-10 orders, and at that time it's very exciting. Like you get comments, I PM my V, PM
Facebook
Yaris,
style lah.
right? So it's very good. It's amazing, right? Then you start replying, and then we're able to convert. So actually, since day one, we are quite positive in terms of the growth. It's always been lucky lah. Always been growing. Yeah, and I think
But I'm curious to know, like, the first year, how
Yeah, I
when
can
you
share
entered
with
the
you.
market, how big was the impact?
When we were starting the first 2 weeks, we started with a promotion. I think it was like 20% off promotion, our first ever campaign for first 2 weeks. We did 23,000 ringgit
2 weeks.
within 2 weeks.
Not
And
bad.
that was because we were taking turns replying customers.
Like how you take turns playing games.
Characters. Yeah. So every time I close a customer, it's your turn. Yeah, he closes a customer, it's my turn.
Oh, that's so cool.
traveling, right? So
You gamify it, man.
Yeah, gamify it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that
I
was
think
like a
around 6 months we are able to hit 7 figures.
yeah.
Wow, 1 million
Yeah,
lah.
yeah.
6 months.
Wow, that was my next question. How long did it take you to
Yeah.
reach
Around
1
6
million?
months.
So first, but I think, to be fair, it's a long-term growth kind of business. You keep going. Is there any year that you guys had a degrowth?
We never had a degrowth, but then there's different stages of life where it's not life
Of
business,
business.
where we are trying to innovate ourselves, right? Because we are always trying to innovate ourselves. Actually, back to different product lines, right? Because the way that we look at products is so different that it also costs us a lot of time to find the right product in the broad product categories. So actually, every product we spend a lot of time in terms of understanding what is the market gap, why do we need it, and then only we launch. So and that took a while. And every time in business, there's different stresses. There's COVID, etc., right? Where people don't drive, so no cars is out there for like a year, right? So there are different stages of time of the business where it can be tough. Yeah, but luckily we are always growing over years. Yeah.
That's interesting.
I have 2 questions. So one is basically, the 300,000 ton that was stock up. You guys finished it. That's one. 2, TRAPO is now being sold 26 stores across 4 countries in Southeast Asia, right? So at what point throughout this business venture did you both realize that you could expand to these different countries? What was the indication?
I think e-commerce is probably the reason behind, because when you start in e-commerce, is
Limitless.
limitless. Number one is limitless. Number 2 is you felt like going to a country is not as hard as like a brick and mortar. Like you need to commit like a factory and then a retail store, etc. Right? So we felt a lot more dynamic. And secondly is also because of the family business, right? So we have always been exposed, believing that we can sell overseas. So he was talking about containers, right? Actually, nowadays our conversation is also
Containers.
how many containers can we ship to Indonesia? How many to Bangkok, right? So we actually celebrated recently a shipment to Bangkok with our team, and then it was like, yes, finally we are on container load, not loose cargo, right? So I think these are things that we believe, and echoing towards like building a global brand. We don't want to be just Malaysian. Malaysian is where we grow, and we really want to bring this Malaysian brand out there proudly.
And as a fellow Malaysian, I'm so proud, man, to see.
Yeah, same.
You guys doing such innovation and going at the market, aggressively like this, and we can't help but to be proud to be friends with Zare and Tzong. All right, let's not also forget, you guys are also, the winners of EY Emerging Entrepreneur of the Year Award, which is, I think, so huge lah, and a huge congratulations to you guys.
Thank you.
Can give it a big clap, tolong nanti editor. and you guys won such prestigious award within 10 years of doing TRAPO. Not even 10 years you guys have won that, right? So do you ever feel any pressure winning this kind of receiving this kind of award, and how do you guys feel? I'm sure it's a big achievement, and I'm sure your families are proud as well to see such achievement at such young age, right?
So I think I'll take this one. We set a thing, one thing is that we never wanted to chase for any awards. So throughout our journey, we actually rarely participated in any. But this came with opportunity that when we got it, we were very, very excited, very thankful.
Of course, it's EY, man. It's global, right?
And then when we were thinking, like, people asking us interview, like, how do you feel? And I think deep down for me, it's a lot of verification that and a lot of blood and sweat, starting from a product that no one believed in until that we managed to create
solving a problem
it,
that
creating
people
the
don't even
different
realize.
category, trying to go into regional. So there's a lot of verification for the team, right? Because we have been always selling, the dream of actually we can actually go further, we can actually grow bigger, we can actually tackle the new market. So that was something that was kept, having behind our mind to share the happiness with the team that it's really a team effort. It's never can be done by both of us to actually get that award. We are just representing the company to be there. Yeah.
And this award holds as a verification and validation to the team as well.
Yes.
That you guys reach a certain milestone, I would say, right?
Yeah. And how do you feel, Zare?
The way you ask question gives us stress, right?
Why is
I think one quote that we got during the whole entire few months of that was being purposeful. So I think that's a great word and hit towards us as a company. I mean, we started with Carmes with this whole purpose of we don't say we recycle, but we reduce waste in landfill today, right? So as long the more that we sell, the actually less plastic waste was there out there.
Yep.
And this purpose statement actually tell us more that why not, we need to do more in other product ranges that we now sell. Right, so what do we do with our packaging, right? So recently we launched only no plastic packaging. So now we are only in a cement bag. So make sure that you are able to recycle.
Cement bag?
Yeah. So it was a bag used for cement.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So then
like cement bag.
So but then no one does it because cement bags are waterproof and then they are very rigid. You don't need to worry about when you're shipping the mess, it gets rain and all that. So we are the first one that innovated that. And then we used to give woven bags which is plastic. So we killed that idea. No more woven bags. So a lot of things that we have a lot more responsibility to us. Like we need to really echo into what we believe that works for the new generation. These are things that the new generation consumer cares.
Yep. Like Uncle Ben said, right? With great power comes great responsibility.
No power yet, but then but we feel it, right? We feel that we can do a lot more.
Power of selling, so you have volume,
selling,
right?
Yeah.
So you do it better, and then once you do, other brands will see also.
Right.
So they may have to follow as well. So it will create impact. But also you guys are already doing impact. So kudos to that. So just now we had a chat outside as well. So you guys were speaking to us about the Endeavour community, which is an organization that scales entrepreneurs at a high impact. We were talking about mentorship and whatnot. And you mentioned you had a mentor back in uni of all your challenges. But how did this community of entrepreneurs help you both to become the entrepreneur that you are today? The Endeavour community.
Yeah, even though this episode is not brought to you by Endeavour, but I think Endeavour has done such a big impact to a lot of entrepreneurs in Malaysia. And I think, people in Malaysia should really understand about what they do and how does this impact you guys as well.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. I still remember the first time that we got into the interview to get into the Endeavour. We were being asked to present our business to the team and also entrepreneurs inside. And we realized that, what got us there, that was 2018, about 2 years plus in the business, where we probably just got our first retail, thinking about, what to expand, that kind of stage, right? And the question that they asked sparks a lot of, thing that we never thought of. In other words, can be like, it's our blind spot, right? We always believe that this is this, but the entrepreneurs that have seen it and done it before, in other industry will tell you that this is not possible, this shouldn't be that way, or maybe you can try this. So that really sparked us in the early stage where, and we're very lucky that we got into that the first scale up cohort, and throughout the journey they actually designed a full I think 6 months or a year program. Every month there's a different topic with different mentors and people coming in to teach us about perspective about business, right? So that along that way, so we get opportunity to learn, how
you learn from the best.
yeah, exactly. And to learn. And the more that we get into the network, and in fact, we realize one thing, under the Endeavor network, right? There's so many similar business, maybe different industry, but the way that they solve problems are similar around the world, right? And you can actually learn from the best around the world, and people might be doing something similar with you in Spain, right? And then what if you get to speak to them, to actually share you their experience of growing the Spain market, right? So that really fast tracked the growth that we had to actually help us with the mentorship, to asking, we talk about asking the right question, but also need to ask the right people. So we get the opportunity to learn from there.
Yeah, I think that's important, man, to ask the right people.
Yeah,
also.
that's the first that I've ever heard this up. I wanted to.
But I think it's very important because, like, sometimes in life, you make decision based on people's advice and people's perspective, right? It also shapes your way of thinking. So if you ask a wrong person the right question also, you might go to a wrong direction and nothing will happen, right? But, I think that's a very, very strong, important point, which is to ask the right question to the right people.
That's the first time I've ever heard of that. And I read so many books. I like that.
It's a masterclass.
So nice. I like it. Okay. So let's move on. This is our final segment of our podcast today. We're going to go into a bit of hard and interesting question, but actually not so hard lah. So one of the backbones of running a business is understanding the financial side of the business. So what's something about startup finances that no one prepares you for? What was your biggest financial mistake or scare running TRAPO? Apart from making so much money for 6 months.
You want to start? Or?
You can go. You can take this one.
Financial challenges. I think when you are I believe in when you start, you feel like, let's say we started selling 20,000, selling 1 million, and then eventually it just grew, right? So you always thought that the playbook is going to be the same.
Yep.
Right. So this is how I do it. This is how I run ads. 20 ringgit, I'll get this. And then you scale, and then you started bringing people. Right. You started doing retail. You started doing different kind of business models, and sometimes you're not ready or you're not geared to understand different channels, right? And at some point we are really stressful because we have all these teams that are in different channels that we are trying to take care of. But we are using the same playbook. So we don't have a different playbook for retail, we don't have a different playbook for e-commerce. Even today, marketplaces and
different.
And brand.com is actually 2 different playbooks.
Yep.
Right. So it took us so long to only understand we are already at our negatives at some point, and we were even expanding in Thailand. Like we have a wrong playbook expanding in Thailand for 3 years. So that cost us a lot of learning setbacks because you just can't. It's not always positive, right? And there's so many things that we really paid for to learn, and it's so, and then we became a lot more disciplined in terms of how we look at cash flows, how we look at investment, right? There's always opportunity. People will ask us, why don't we go to Philippines tomorrow, right? You want to build a global brand, and then we'll think a lot. Now, before that, we'll be like, just bam, let's go.
Let's
right?
go Philippines. Yes, go.
So these are small things that it takes time to realize.
Understand.
Yeah. You can't just scale because that you felt like the business model will work everywhere.
Everywhere there's a different playbook.
Every channel.
And I think that's also a key point, right? From what we've learned from both of your stories. Every market reacts differently, and everything that you do, you have to look at it specifically.
Correct.
It's not like one advice fits for all kind of thing. Everything has different methods of doing things. All right, of course, what we've seen from you guys, looks like it's all rosy. It looks like all nice, but of course, as
Rainbows
siblings,
and butterflies.
rainbows and butterflies, everything looks good, you know,
Yeah.
chilling in. But of course, as co-founders and brothers, right? Has there ever been a time where you guys had disagreements, and has it ever come close to breaking the company and things like that?
Luckily, no.
Wow,
I
man,
don't know,
so
because
boring,
we
man,
have
his
been,
answers.
we are so boring right now. But then,
No juice, tak lah.
so we have been fighting since
Day one.
Day 1 year old. So we know how to fight. We know how to get back together. But I think interesting is the journey of entrepreneurship and understanding each other. I mean, we gone through ups and downs, and we actually start to know each other better and better, even until today, right? So you kind of know what he likes, what I like, and we don't in a meeting, we just need to have an eye contact. We know what's next,
Yep.
right? So that kind of chemistry is enjoyable.
Yep.
And so I mean,
So
we
there's
still
never
fight.
been a big disagreement.
I'm sure there is.
still,
Just that
you
it
need
didn't to a
to
point.
I
we
would-
forget things easily.
Yeah, I would say that both of us have the openness mindset that we are willing to listen, right? And we also understand that any conversation is not about winning, right? It's about coming to agreement. So throughout the journey, we set a very clear goal. We actually have clear goals every year, and our discussion is all about how do you get there, right? I have different ideas, he has different ideas, but then we never had any time where we sort of like I agree and you don't agree, and we stuck there, because we always will be able to walk it through. Like at the end is the goal. It's not about who wants to win today. Like you're smarter, I'm smarter. You should listen to me. I think we never had that throughout the journey that will make us who we are today.
Understand?
But at some point of when we started, right? So everything we discuss, right? But then as we grow and the team grows, we actually have very clear responsibilities within the company, right? So what are the decisions that we'll make? I know this is my call. You can give your whatever suggestion you want, but it's my call,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So,
You split
so
roles,
same goes to him, right? So I can give him like, I don't really like how you do this or that, but at the end of the day, whatever he goes, we need to give 100% support, right? That's the fundamental.
You have to give that respect.
Respect and also support, right? And unconditional support.
Wow.
Yeah.
But how do you manage ego then between the two of you?
Yeah, I wanted to add this.
Yeah.
Jeff Bezos said this thing, He said, be stubborn on goals, but flexible on strategy. So that's the part where you were mentioning, right? Stubborn on the goals, whatever the yearly goals, but flexible on the strategy. That's the Okay, sorry. Go on.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you guys manage especially the man ego,
Yeah.
or all these things that you guys went through, all these courses, all these topics that made you guys align better?
I think so we align, right? No awards, example, right? So of course, like you can go for a best, most handsome entrepreneur award, right? No, I'm joking. No, but I think you don't try to create individuality too much, right? So this is our alignment, right?
together.
So we and it's actually rare for we have seen family issues, within our dads, there's family business within this family, and how it's all ended up not good, right?
Not worth it.
It's not worth it. And end of the day, what are we gonna take away, right? End of the day, it's gonna be us. We're gonna have fun, and our kids will love how we interact with each other over time, right? So I think that's something that is very, very important, and there's always front seats and back seats, and we take turn to take it, right? So there's times that he always has the front seat, and there are times that I'll have some front seats, right? So you just need to accept that it's a brother's business, and this is how we're gonna run it. And a lot of people will have a lot of different ways seeing at the brothers. People like dramas, right? These brothers better they bercerai and then create another brand, right? That's the typical story that might happen eventually. And how we think is, how do we have seen things like that happen? We are 9 years in. How do we make sure we're gonna be the same for the next 10 years? And there's ways around it.
But it's a
interesting.
net loss game, man. If you guys fight, right? When you
Yeah.
come together,
Right.
the sky and the
There's a
opportunity
limit.
is like limitless. But
Yeah,
when it's always every case study when they break up, it's even worse, right? Yeah. But I wanted to ask, what's your roles? Like I would imagine from the beginning
Okay,
when you say
guess.
about GAM.
Yeah, you guess.
Yeah, my guess is like same to gaming, right? Co-CEO. So you run Monday, Tuesday, half Wednesday.
I don't think so, man. That would be
So he golfs on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday.
No, I don't think so, right? I'm sure.
Co-CEO, but some departments.
I don't know. Maybe you
Yeah,
look at
I
the
don't know.
operation, you look at the sales and marketing, no?
Yeah.
Oh yes, you're totally wrong. It's totally more the other way around.
Oh,
so,
okay.
So, yeah.
So you look at sales.
Yeah.
Yeah, his background sales.
Yeah.
Your background chemical engineering.
Yeah.
So you look at the operation, how to
Yeah.
develop the products and stuff, right?
Yeah.
He's
You're
a
right,
he's an engineer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So very logical thinking.
Yeah.
So I'm more towards the creative
Tukang goreng.
side. Yeah. So we
Front
so
end
that's why
guy.
we say we complement each other in a lot of ways. And yeah.
He makes the cakes, you sell them. It's like that.
Yeah.
Nice.
that's
nice.
interesting,
Yeah. That it will work because of this.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, exactly.
you know,
If you are
have-
too
yeah.
front, then it's not gonna
It's
work.
very tough.
All right. So here's the big one. Are you building TRAPO as a legacy for your family, or a stepping stone, or something even bigger? What's the real end game?
Okay. The vision for us, we wrote it down. We started as a single product company, so we wanted to be a category winner, and we are now, as you see us, right, we are also very a lot of clarity has shown along the way that we are targeting new car owners. If you buy a new car, what are your pain points? How can we be part of it? And then building a global brand around it, right? So number one, when it comes to TRAPO, the vision has always been the same. So we wanted to build a global brand, and we wanted to solve the unconscious problems. We will stick to that. And in TRAPO, we only solve. We're very clear on what are the things that we want to solve. I think there's a few parts that we think that if it never aligned with our vision, and then we would never wanted to do it, right? So I think that will be one part of what we're trying to build as a global brand. Yeah.
Interesting.
Nice.
Anything you want to add, Zah?
No, I think one more probably is really within the organization itself, right? So it's really embracing the leaders and upcoming young leaders that has always grown with us for the past few years. Really a platform for all of them to shine in because the market is big. The brand now has grown a little bit bigger, and there's so many things that we can grow together, and we really want to have that platform where a lot of leaders can grow and of course not forgetting how to bake a cake with sustainability and a lot of innovation. So that's how we see this base would then achieve as a visionary global brand.
Okay,
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
All right, so before we end, we usually ask this one question, and this goes to the both of you. What is your advice for the people that is watching today for them to be the best version of themselves? Maybe we can start with the elder brother.
Yeah.
To be the best version of themselves. Yeah, I think number one, always not afraid to ask and to learn. Never stop learning. I think this is something that we, in our journey of 9 years, I think every single day we are learning from different people, different scenario, different businesses, speaking to different people. And the second thing I would say is without much expectation, because once you have too much of expectation, it sort of cover up
Then it
your
disappoints you, right?
your spots, right? And then you're starting to see things this way, right? So being that openness. Of course, when I say no expectation, meaning doesn't mean that you go in don't know what you want to say, right? But it's more towards like having that listening mindset of listening from the people that you speak to, and you try to take in as much as you can that relates to you. Because I always believe that everyone is built differently. There's no point to copy someone or even to be someone, right? Just be yourself, right? You definitely have a pathway that suits you that you just need to find out yourself. Yeah.
Amazing.
Thank you so much.
Zah?
I think fundamental is you need to stay curious, right? It's so important to be curious about. We started being curious about business models, why they are celebrating, we are cutting prices. Like there's those small part of life
Curiosity.
that I felt that as long as we are curious of ask these why questions to everything that we see in life, right? I'm sure that if we have that curiosity, we'll always be better tomorrow as a person, and it's also very, very important to have a bit of fun. So you cannot always be so stressed, like, I need to be a better version of me and myself tomorrow, right? So and then it's so stressful, right? And then you will never be it because you're not enjoying your life, right? And I felt like a bit of enjoyment and a bit of fun is that extra thing, chemistry that will just bring everything possible. Because if you're under a very stressed environment, you will never be a better person tomorrow.
Wow, amazing. So thank you
Very,
so
very good
much,
advice.
guys, for
you.
sharing all this advice. Like I said, it has been a masterclass, for us, and I've learned so much from you guys. And building a business from ground up to having 26 outlets, doing sales in the millions, banyak millions, and but still being so grounded. And I think one of the best thing I like about you guys, like even when we were in Oxford, right, they were the type of people that would hang out with everybody. It'd be so random. Then I'll see Tzong with like 3 auntie pakai tudung and just talking to them, and then suddenly Tzong with someone 18-year-old on the bridge, like just chilling with them, So they even though they are at that level in life, but they are so grounded, so humble, and you guys are like, you guys, it's true, you guys like very open, you guys listen to people, you guys give good advice, you want to help others as well. So I think you guys have such amazing qualities that as friends I can learn from, and also as another Malaysian I'm so inspired, and I see that TRAPO as a brand that can really make us all proud, can make Malaysian proud. Something like Asia juga, a brand that is from Malaysia, but for the world. Not just for Malaysian to other Malaysians, but for the world, for the global market. And I wish that you guys will, achieve all your dreams, achieve everything that you guys set out to achieve, and, you guys become the next unicorn and make us all proud in Malaysia. And hopefully one day, get me on board.
Thank you so much.
You sure you can commit? Every guest you're gonna be about how many people you have to be about? Anyways, from my side, very short and simple.
Like, sorry, you like to collect girls, I like to collect companies.
Who said I collect girls? Astaghfirullahaladzim. I collect pahala.
Betul. Okay.
Alright, thank you so much, guys. It has been a pleasure. I met you many years ago, and just to give a bit of a story, I've been telling everybody, although we only hang out that one day, because after that I saw TRAPO everywhere, and I've been telling, that's my friends. We only hang out once, but we really hang out. Really hang
You
out
guys
together.
get a lot of things that the barrier was down lah.
Exactly. So then, I really told everybody this is my friend, but I got the facts wrong. Yeah, I said your family did tires, and so a bit some salah there, but that's how much proud I am just to be associated with you. And now I'm really proud, and one day inshallah also you guys, your brand will be a global brand and all over the world as a unicorn, like Ashraf said as well. And I'll be doing the same thing, telling everybody that's my friend's brand.
They do it from toy business.
But this time with the right facts. But thank you so much for your time. I learned a lot personally, and I'm sure the viewers loved it too.
Yeah, thank you so much,
you so
guys.
much.
Thank you so much, Robert.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much,
Thank you so
and
much.
appreciate your time spent here. And I hope you guys all learn a thing or two. I think more than a thing or two from these two amazing individuals. I think I personally have learned so much, and I think this is actually a real masterclass. And I hope you guys share this with your friends and family, people around you, so that they will also gain some knowledge from this.
Agreed.
And if you want to change your if you want to change your life, you want to change your surrounding, you got to always start
Change your
by
friends.
changing
Hashtag nak ubah member.
changing yourself and also
yes.
your environment. So thank you so much again, guys, and we'll catch you guys in the next episode. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.